G'day and welcome to Stitch Up and episode 2 of Planet Coaster, the Studios Pack. So, in between episodes, as promised, I have completed a bit more building. Hardly anything's been built on the hotel, but you can sort of still see the shape, and I think the proportion is pretty good. But what we have done in the in between last episode and this episode is put in a very large fountain or water feature. I've concreted around that as well and just got some nice reflections going on. I think I might put the sign for the park inside there and have some lights going onto it at some point. The park is open and we've got some guests heading around to the left here. The only thing they're heading to at the moment is all these food shops. So we'll get to that in just a sec. But I deleted the previous building that I had started at the end of the last episode. And so what I've actually done is I've used a couple of Planet Coaster blueprints. So these are the two terraced houses, the terrace corner and the Planet Coaster terrace middle section. And I think we've got the bank, is it? Yeah, some bank building. And then I think we've got a fire station which has two sides to it, which is going to work out just nicely because I've got a few ideas there. So this is the idea. What I wanted to do is a nice little built up street scene, and trying to intermingle these fake roads, so roads that are just purely ornamental, but the bus goes down some of them. I'm trying to mix in real life paths, so this whole area is real life path, and then these areas here are fake paths or ornamental paths, so guests won't ever travel on those. However, I've managed to get the guests to go up here using these paths and just some pavement. So that will work out quite nicely. There's a nice little delineation between this guest plaza area and then the city area. The idea will be that the bus ride, the Studios ride, which is the main focus of the park at the moment, the idea will be that the Studios ride will take off and be all around here, and then it will finish off by going through the city. So as you'll see, as guests would walk in, they would see the bus and it would create a little bit of interest. They'd be like, oh, how cool, let's go off and go on that. And then this would be at the completion of the ride. So I don't plan on having a bus going down the other side of the road. You can see here, in fact, when the guests see it, it looks like there's room, but if you look at it from above, there's actually not enough room to get two buses down there. A lot of theme parks do this. They make something look like it's functional, but it's not actually functional. Same with this road up here. The road that connects will just purely be an ornamental road. So I think that works out quite nicely. I like the idea of that looking straight down and that there's a nice sort of city street as well. And you get like a T intersection. So with more buildings across the back here, I think that's going to work out really nicely. This is essentially a backlot. Now, this building here on the corner, I built this from scratch. So it's not brilliant, but I think I'm getting there with my building. It's just a simple brick building. It's got a few stacked chimneys together, some pipes coming off it, and I've even got some little lamps going off it as well. So I think, yeah, it's kind of okay. I put some nice planning around it, and then I've made these backyards for these three here as well, which I think works quite nicely. Popped a door on each of those, some air conditioning units, and it's very much meant to look like a proper backlot. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Then we've got this other building here, which is low, and it's got just a bit of food in it and some shops. So I haven't worked out what I'm going to put inside the shops. They're purely ornamental, but I'm going to light inside those shops and then maybe put some anchors or bookshelves or something. We've got people here who can go out and I think this has got a bit of a 50s diner feel to it. So I'm not going sci-fi, but I am using this fence here to go a little bit Tomorrowland with this fence. I need the fence along that road to cover up these markers for the path. So yeah, it's all coming along. So we'll just continue that fence along there. Possibly going to put another zebra crossing in, but I'm not too sure at the moment. Keeps clipping that building as well, doesn't it? But yeah, we'll just keep this fence going along here, do a little bit more building in this episode. And then the next thing I think I want to get building in this episode is start to think about where the bus tour is going to go. And then I want to fill in this whole area in between episodes. So I do want a lot of planting to be happening around here in the plaza. I've got to be careful because whatever I put onto the plaza area, I've got to watch that the guests don't clip it. If you put scenery in amongst it, these are large. These are very large pieces of path, and you can't put scenery in amongst it because the guests will walk straight through it. One thing I haven't done at the moment is buses. I can't wait to put some buses in. I was even thinking we could have some buses with some horizontal parking out the front of the hotel. So I think that'll work out quite nice. So the hotel still hasn't come along any further. I've been spending all my time building this sort of town area. So I will start to build a few more of my own buildings, and I do need to remember that I do want height, so I've got to be sort of quite careful about how I build up height around here. I do like the idea that the city backlight area is quite tall, built up, very much a city. We've got this lovely tall building here. Everything should be 2 or 3 stories, maybe 3 or 4 stories if we're looking at these big grand sizes there. So I hope that's you guys like that. Now, in this episode, I think what we'll do, actually, I might just finish off putting some of these lovely street markings. So we use a multi-selection tool, which I've now discovered. I didn't realise what the multi-selection tool was until previous. And yeah, it's good fun. And again, the mouse sensitivity is absolutely killing me. So yeah. Okay, what do we got there? So, and if we put it like this, got a bus coming up there now. So I like the idea that the bus is travelling up there so I can continually work out what is where everything needs to be. So I like the idea that the bus goes up and down the road during a testing phase, so I continually look at, proportions and things like that. This is not too bad. Probably just bring it across a tiny bit because, I think that's pretty good. No, I don't think that's good at all. I think that needs to be... in fact, if I use multi-selection tool, pick this up, I do want to pick up this, then I'll take off the bus. And then I'll slide it across. So I think it's got to be... let's just try that again. Multi-selection tool, take off the bus ride, X, and we want the red line, and it's got to be in the middle of the road. Yeah, brilliant. So I think that kind of works. These buses are kind of doing their own thing. So I think I'll start to build maybe one large building along this corner. I think that could be kind of cool. And then I think it's important to think about a roller coaster as well at some point that we can have going, or a ride just to get people, get people into it a little bit. All right, so just thinking now about what we're going to build next. Might come down here and just have a look at the hotel. And if we go edit building, so now I wanted to have a look under scenery, take off the pavement, and under scenery, I just wanted to see there was some, under building, there was decorations. And under decorations, this is where I found a whole lot of other stuff that can make my hotel look a bit more glam. So I'm looking for, first of all, any baskets. I was looking for, there's oriental lamps. What else we got? Spooky wall lamps, storm lanterns. Yeah, see, these lanterns look good. I like that. Okay, let's see where they naturally want to go to. So if I go there. Oh yeah, see, I don't mind that. I think that looks kind of cool. Yeah, I think it's going to look really good. hotel's so big that I've got to be careful. Whatever I do to one side, I've got to go back and fix and do to the other side. So this hotel, it's very much a symmetrical hotel. So I have to build it. When I build one part, I have to stop and build the next bit. I just wonder if maybe we can, if that's going a bit far. Oh, that's pretty good actually. And we've got a balcony there, so yeah, so that's kind of cool. Yeah. All right. What else can we do for this hotel? Yeah, we're not quite there yet with any of this. I think we just need to not just, I don't want to keep placing stuff onto the hotel for the sake of it, but I do like the idea of the big concrete parts. And at some point that'll need to be, at some point the hotel will need to be finished. So yeah, okay. Now let's look at what we're gonna plan out. So these roads here are just placeholders. I need to think about you know, where the bus is going to go and how it's going to eventually get back to the streetscape. So let's see. So this building here I might just move back and line up with that. And then what we'll do is we will just try and get some more pavements going here. So we need to get this, and if I can control it, let's just see how many we get. Is that, yeah, that kind of works. All right. Now what we do have to do as well in this corner is just make sure, so these pavements on the left are actually lower than the ones on the right. And the thing is, if we do it this side, the guests clip. I've got to be very careful that the guests don't just clip the wrong side of these pavements. So what I might do is I might slide this one along, make this one there. No, hang on. Shall we say there? Actually, let's make it here. Yep. And now if I take this one off, okay. So that kind of works. So those pavements are all sort of a little bit higher, and then if we have a look here where the guests actually walk, the pavements are a bit lower. When we did it to a bit higher, the guests were clipping it. So I've got to be a little careful with that. Let me see, so let's just go here, and we want to turn it twice. Confusing myself a tiny bit now. Whoop. Let's put that in there. So this one here, if we go edit the shop and move this one. All right, cool. So now we gotta jump out of that. If you go X, Control D, And these ones are going to be a bit higher now, so I've got to think about exactly where I want those. I think it's kind of good, but again, I've got to wait for the guests to walk on them before I start seeing them. And we'll be able to cover all this up at some point. Okay, so these are all things I can do in the next, in between the next episode. Let's think about where that bus goes as well. Yeah, the bus goes along there. So the bus really, I can change the buses, but he has to swing out in order to get around that corner. So I kind of don't mind that. I just won't put anything along the curb on this side. I think that's pretty good. And I've been able to connect these curbs as well by putting a slope of the sidewalk. So I'll be able to put a slope down there as well. Yeah, cool. Okay, well, cityscape building and backlot building is going to be me in between episodes. And I'll start to think about what other scenes I want the bus to go to and the bus tour to go to. So this episode has just been a little bit of a recap of what's happening. I hope you enjoyed that. Please leave a comment and a like, suggestions, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. And see you in the next episode. Cheers.